welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at section 1.2.2, evaluate exponents. Last time in 1.2.1 we were looking at writing exponents and understanding them. So here we're actually going to calculate it. So 3 to the second power, another way we say that is 3 squared. That basically means that 3 is being repeated twice. So that's the same as 3 times another 3, which of course is equal to 9. 2, 5. Okay, same kind of thing here. 5 squared means we have 2 5s. 5 times another 5, which equals 25. Level 2 now. We have 8 to the third power, sometimes said as 8 cubed. 8 cubed is sometimes what we say for a third power. And that means we have 3 8s. 8 times 8 times 8. A little more challenging to think about. The calculator could come in handy. This ends up equaling 512. All right, so now this one we might have to think a little more about. 5 to the 0 power. I can't really write 0 5s. And the common, it's a little harder for this to be intuitive, but it's not 0 like you might think, because it's not multiplying 5 times 0. It just means that we have 0 5s. So then again, that argument, you might still think the answer is 0. What I would say is maybe think of a pattern that we have here. So if you have 5 to the third, that means 5 times 5 times 5. That ends up equaling 125. Then if you go down a power, 5 to the second power, we did that one earlier. 5 times 5, that's 25. 5 to the first power means you only have 1 5, which is just 5. And then 5 to the 0 is what? Well, there is a pattern as you go down a power each time, and it will be consistent when we go from 5 to the first to 5 to the 0. And what happens here is you're getting 1 less 5 being multiplied. So another way to think about that is you're dividing by 5 each step. So if you took 125 divided by 5, that equals 25. 25 divided by 5, again, would equal 5. Now 5 divided by 5, what does that equal? And hopefully you thought of the number 1, right? 5 divided by 5 is 1. And that actually is our answer to this problem. 5 to the 0 is 1. So, and that's true with any number. Any number to the 0 power ends up equaling 1. Okay, when we get to level 3, they start giving us problems in words here. So this is especially important why we want to know what the word square means when we're talking about exponents. We're not talking about the shape square, though that does have to do with the name, because if you have a square and if you want to find the area of it, say it's got sides of 4, well, the square of 4 means 4 to the second power, which is 16, and that's the same area of the square. This area would have an area of 16 units squared. So there's a reason why we call it square. Anyway, so this would be 10 to the second power, which is 10 times 10, which is 100. And what is 9 raised to the power of 3? So in this case, they said raised to the power of 3. Again, with the word, or the power of 3 could be said as cubed, and that's because of the shape of a cube. And to find the volume of a cube, you multiply all three sides. If it's a cube, then all three sides are the same. So say it's like 2, a width of 2, a length of 2, and a height of 2. Well, the volume is 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 to the third power, which does end up equaling 8. So the volume of this cube is 8, and that's why we say when we have a third power, we say cubed. Anyway, in this case, it's 9. 9 raised to the third power, which of course is 9 times 9 times 9. And that's actually quite a large number. It's 729. And you can always check those with a calculator. That's totally fine. Here's one where I would need a calculator for, but let's write it out to show what it means. 17 to the third power is 317. 17 times 17 times 17. And yes, I do have to admit, I mean, we could do this the long way, but of multiplication, I mean, so take 17 times 17, get some answer, and then take that answer and multiply it by a third 17 to get the final answer. You could do it that way. It would take a little while, wouldn't be impossible, but here, with a calculator, I calculated it out to be 4,913 when you multiply 17 times itself 3 times. 17 cubed is how we could say it. All right, and one more here. This one actually you do not need a calculator for, because there's a trick when you're multiplying by a number like this. But 1,000 to the third power means 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000. And when you're multiplying numbers with a bunch of zeros like this, what you can do is you can multiply just the front number, the leading number, the non-zero number. And 1 times 1 times 1 is pretty easy. That equals just 1. And then you add on however many zeros there are. So there are a total of 9 zeros here. So I'm going to put 9 zeros after this 1. And there we go. That is, I believe, 1 billion, right? You got the first set of zeros gives you to 1,000, million, billion. And that concludes our lesson for 1.2.2.